I find Destiny a little hard to get into these days. Like I tried.
That's totally fair.
I tried not. I think it was last season. It was a couple of months ago when everybody was like bumping back into it a bunch. And there's like one introductory mission, and then hey, do you want to buy the $80 expansion? And I'm like, well, I don't really know what's in it yet, and I don't know what's not, and there's a ton of activities, and I can't tell what's important or what's connected to anything.
It's too much.
You need a guide these days.
And I can't catch up anytime I come back in. I'm like, I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So, if interestingly enough, I had the same thing getting into Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy definitely has that same problem.
For sure.
And then you just, I mean, it's a pretty boring answer, but it's like when you just start doing it and you just start playing and stuff, it becomes like a smaller amount, and you start like learning a new thing about it every day and whatnot. And then it's like, then I beat all the story stuff, and now I've just been doing all the extra things. And it definitly makes the game become smaller for you.
Yeah.
Destiny isn't like that, unfortunately.
There's
Kind of.
sort of weekly quests and stuff that you can do to get legendary
Yeah, but
gear.
when you log in, it just starts being like, here's a quest you need to do, and they're just like all out of order.
The onboarding's always been garbage.
Yeah, the onboarding's always been rough. I've had that same experience with Final Fantasy XIV, though, Ben.
Yeah.
Like, bounced off it a little, and when I went back to it, I was like, oh, it's not an overwhelming amount of stuff in that, like, you're supposed to do this in the particular order. It's just, here's a ton of stuff that you can do, and you can focus on what you feel like doing, and you'll learn more about the world as you do that.
Yeah.
And it felt great.
I think onboarding for MMOE style games
It's hard.
It's a tough thing.
Hard.
It took World of Warcraft until the most recent expansion to be like, oh, people don't want to like randomly go through a bunch of different expansions and whatnot and try and piece together what's going on to level up.
Because for the people who are actively playing it, they want the world to change and evolve and be different based on the things that they've done and the things that have happened. But then that means you're taking away the start of things that you crafted for new players, and it gets really muddy and so many currencies.
WoW took it in the right direction, where they're just like, here's a 1 to 10 experience, and then from 10 to 60, pick an expansion.
Yeah,
and just
pick
play
one
it.
and play through
and
that
then
is
by
what
the
you
time
do
you're
now.
done it, you'll be ready to do the end level content. So
cool.
it's cool.
I did like the idea of phasing the way they handled it, but they just couldn't do it on a scale that it would work. But we're kind of falling in a hole here.